My name is Kwasi, Executive Director of Our Bright Future, Inc. I was born in Ghana, West Africa, and my father had 10 kids that he wanted to bring to America. He was looking for some low-income housing. That's the only thing he could afford. So we found a place in Worcester where he moved in, having difficulty trying to meet some friends. So when I finally made a friend, I wanted to go play with him, and I knocked on his door. He finally opens the door, and I walk in, and I look to the right of me, and his mom is passed out, and there's a needle sticking in her arm. And that was the day that changed my life forever. That day I made a promise to myself that I'm gonna get out of this situation. Our Bright Future started October 2016. The reason why I started Our Bright Future is I tell you a little bit about my past of growing up. That was the humble beginnings. I wanted to give something back to the kids where I grew up at. Sports was my outlet. I think most of my lessons came from sports. The discipline in it and teaching me, how to be disciplined. That was the biggest thing I think I took from sports. And that's what I try to apply in my life, being disciplined. Whatever you're doing, 110%. STEM World was actually introduced to me by a student I coach named Anthony Gargano. And when he first introduced me, I told him no, most of our students are from inner city. They won't get it, and he's like, Coach, just try it. And he brings, we bring all these robots in, and I remember sitting back and watching, and, all the kids just went nuts.
My name is Anthony Gargano, and I work for Our Bright Future as the Robotics Director. So the kids, what they get to use is the Lego Mindstorms robotics kits. They also use 3D printers. 3D printing is a technique where they melt hot plastic and they get to literally see anything they design come to life. So we use a series of different softwares for that. We use a Tinkercad program, which is great for elementary school kids and younger kindergarten, even preschoolers. We've had 5-year-olds actually do the Tinkercad's programs. And for the more advanced kids, we actually use an industry standard called Fusion 360, which is a real computer-aided design, a CAD software that real engineers use every day to design things from cameras to lights to desks and chairs.
These things that they're learning, they think they're just having fun. I'm just designing this cool thing because it's fun. You're almost tricking them in learning. A normal day-to-day, it's pretty simple. We have staff that'll check your homework, making sure all your homework is done. And when that is done, you break them into groups. So students that are doing robotics will go to their robotics program. 3D printing will go to 3D printing room. Sports will go to sports room. Arts and crafts will go to arts and crafts room. And about 45 minutes to an hour, we switch the program. So they get to do everything on a day-to-day basis. It really takes a village to raise a child, and that's the same concept I have in my program when you bring your kid. They become my kids, pretty much. I have kids of my own, so I understand, you have to have the right people in place to have that, and to have role models in place, showing these kids that whatever you want to do, you actually can do it.
So why is Our Bright Future good for kids? It gives so many kids the opportunity to do things that they've never been able to do without this program. We let kids fail so much, and we don't punish them, we reward them for failure. So when the kid designs a part on the 3D printer and they print it out, it comes out in a ball of string instead of a nice snowflake that they designed. We work with the kid and we say, okay, well, you tried it this way, it failed, how could you fix that? And you're forcing the kids to critically think, and then when you go out in the real world, all you're doing is critically thinking. Every situation you're in, you're just trying to find a problem and solve the problem, and that's all we do in Our Bright Future, and that's the biggest, I think, reason that it's so impactful on the kids.
This is the coolest program. That's what we're trying to do, get the wow factor for these kids. And if your child comes here, I promise you that they're gonna be wow and say, wow, this is really cool.